In the NFL, injuries are inevitable, unless your name is Tyler Lockett. At just 5 feet 10 and 182 pounds, scouts called him too small and too fragile to survive the league's brutality. Yet, over an incredible decade-long career, Lockett has defied those expectations, missing only 3 regular season games out of a possible 164. How does a receiver built more like a sprinter than a football player avoid hits from some of the game's most ferocious defenders? How has Tyler Lockett not only survived but thrived, becoming the second leading receiver in Seahawks history behind the legendary Steve Largent? While other players, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, and Calvin Johnson, often absorb contact after the catch, Lockett typically does the opposite, and that difference is part of what makes him special. Tyler will slide to avoid big hits. But where and when did that habit start? Did it begin in high school? In college? Why did he adopt it? And who inspired him? Did he see another player use it after a career-altering injury? To answer those questions, let's take a closer look at Lockett's career and how his signature slide came to be. Tyler Lockett was born into football bloodlines on September 28, 1992, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. His father and uncle were star receivers at Kansas State, which set the stage for Tyler's athletic path at Booker T. Washington High School. He quickly proved that toughness wasn't limited by size. As a junior, he played full football and basketball seasons with a broken wrist, getting it repaired only after the seasons ended. By graduation, Tyler had won state championships in both football and basketball, earned all-state honors, and finished third in the state in both the 100 and 200-meter sprints. Despite those accomplishments, his smaller frame left him ranked only the 178th receiver in his class. Undeterred, he followed his family to Kansas State, where he would soon make a name for himself. He planned to redshirt as a freshman and spend time in the weight room to bulk up, but Kansas State had other plans and put him on the field immediately. Things started a bit slowly at receiver, but Lockett found another way to impact games as a returner. On October 15th against Texas Tech, he returned a kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown. Lockett's 100-yard return made it clear he was special in Big 12 special teams play and earned him Conference Special Teams Player of the Week. Over the next several games, starting with a 251 all-purpose yard performance in the Governor's Cup against Kansas, he became the first player in Kansas State history to return kickoffs for touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. This time, his return was 96 yards, and he also had 5 catches for 110 receiving yards in that game. A few weeks later, he had an even bigger showing, totaling 315 all-purpose yards, including an 80-yard punt return touchdown and 3 carries for 84 rushing yards. The freshman excitement ended when he missed the final 3 games with a lacerated kidney, but his impact could not be ignored. Lockett earned Big 12 Freshman of the Year. His production continued as a sophomore. He had another 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and a few weeks later produced a 9-catch, 194-yard, 2-touchdown effort against West Virginia. He returned another kickoff for a touchdown against Oklahoma State, his 4th career return score, and finished the season with 687 receiving yards and 4 receiving touchdowns, plus special teams recognition. As a junior, Lockett really broke out, topping 1,200 receiving yards and 11 receiving touchdowns. He set Kansas State's single-game receiving record with 237 yards against Texas and added another 96 return yards in that contest. Shortly after, a hamstring injury cost him 3 weeks and raised fresh concerns about durability. But when he was healthy, he was lethal. When he returned from injury, he had 111 yards on 8 catches against West Virginia, 8 catches for 123 yards against TCU, and then his best performance yet. He broke Darren Sproles' single-game all-purpose yards record with 278 all-purpose yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, and 162 return yards, one of the highest single-game all-purpose totals in college history. By the end of his junior year, he was all Big 12 and a second-team All-American. If you thought Lockett would regress in his senior year, you'd be wrong. He had his best season yet, topping 1,500 receiving yards with 11 more touchdowns. He had a 250-plus all-purpose yard game against UTEP and received numerous honors, including First-Team All-Big 12 and AP First-Team All-Purpose Player. He had proven repeatedly that he was a collegiate force, but the NFL is a different beast with bigger, faster, stronger players at every position. Many smaller college stars failed to translate at the NFL level. Would Lockett? At the Combine, he officially measured 5 feet 10 and 182 pounds, marks that worried scouts. He made up for size concerns with track speed, running a 4.44-second 40-yard dash, along with clear explosion and agility. Still, the NFL's physicality was a major unknown. Shortly after the combine, as the draft approached, Tyler realized he would need to change his game to survive. Despite his speed and production, size concerns were real, and he slipped to the third round. The Seattle Seahawks selected him with the 69th overall pick. Seattle clearly saw something in Lockett. They traded up, surrendering 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks to move up and draft him. Lockett was poised to make a name for himself immediately in the preseason. He did just that, returning a kickoff 103 yards for a touchdown against the Denver Broncos and showcasing that he was more than a receiver. He was dangerous in space. In Week 3, he returned another kickoff for a touchdown, a 105-yarder against the Chicago Bears. If anything, Lockett seemed destined to be a return game weapon, but he became far more. His rookie season was remarkable. He joined Gale Sayers as one of the only rookies to record 5 receiving touchdowns, a punt return touchdown, and a kickoff return touchdown. He was the only rookie named AP First Team All-Pro and was selected to the All-Rookie team at 3 positions: receiver, kick returner, and punt returner. Lockett was a force despite his smaller frame. He finished his rookie year with 51 catches for 664 yards and 6 receiving touchdowns, plus 852 kickoff return yards with a touchdown and a punt return touchdown. But adversity soon arrived and forced Lockett to alter how he played. In 2016, Lockett was having another strong season with 597 receiving yards and a touchdown until he suffered a broken tibia and fibula on one play, which required surgery and ended his season. After that injury, he would miss only 2 more regular season games in his career, in large part because he changed the way he played. Lockett began doing something many receivers did not. After catching the ball, if there was no clear path, he would slide down rather than fight into heavy contact. He would gain what yards he could, and then go to the ground before contact arrived. The move made him exceedingly difficult to hit. That adjustment dramatically extended Lockett's career. While many receivers of similar size struggle to stay healthy, Lockett has remained available for a decade largely because he limits contact. Lockett is dangerous in space. He's shown that on kickoff and punt returns, and on runs after the catch. What makes him so slippery isn't only his ability to juke defenders or his vision, but his willingness to take what the defense gives him and then give himself up on his own terms. It's smart, it preserves his body and mitigates long-term wear from the game. It also creates opportunities for his team, late hit penalties. Defenders who are moving at high speed sometimes can't control themselves, especially when aiming for a quarterback. We see that on quarterback slides that draw late hit penalties. The same logic applies to Lockett. When an offensive player gives himself up, the defender cannot legally hit him. Most defenders recognize this and pull up to avoid a penalty, but that awareness is less automatic when the player isn't a quarterback. Against Lockett, defenders must account for that option, which introduces hesitation. Lockett can exploit that hesitation, or, if a defender is moving too quickly, slide to try to draw a flag. Some call it soft, but it's a smart strategy at 5'10" and 182 pounds when matching up with players like Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, or Nick Bosa. You're rarely going to win a sustained contact battle against those defenders. So sliding and avoiding contact, preserving your health while creating the possibility of a penalty, is sound strategy, especially for a player of Lockett's size. Beyond the slide, Lockett is a tremendous receiver and a master of the toe tap catch. His body control and ability to get both feet inbounds have produced highlight catches for a decade. For most of his career, he played alongside Russell Wilson, who threw one of the most accurate deep balls in NFL history. One reason Wilson's deep ball worked so often was that Lockett routinely won contested tight window throws. Some of the most impressive plays Seattle ever produced came when Wilson launched a ball that looked a yard or two out of bounds, and Lockett managed to pull it back in. Lockett not only caught those throws but kept both feet inbounds to complete the catch. That skill made him nearly unguardable and added to the frustration of defenders. When he's inbounds, he avoids hard hits, and when the ball looks destined to go out, he often keeps it alive. With that in mind, Lockett's greatest skill isn't just speed or vision, it's body control. He gets out of the way of massive hits and contorts himself for ridiculous touchdown catches. Because of that combination, Lockett has assembled an impressive career. More than 8,500 receiving yards, 61 receiving touchdowns, roughly 265 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, over 3,000 kickoff return yards with 2 touchdowns, and about 1,000 punt return yards with a touchdown. He has had 4 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He earned first-team All-Pro honors as a rookie, an uncommon achievement for a player of his size, and added second-team All-Pro nods in 2016 and 2017. He was an NFL Top 100 player 3 straight years from 2018 to 2020, showing the respect he commands among peers. For whatever reason, Lockett has often been overlooked or outshone by other receivers, even teammates. He hasn't always been grouped with the league's elite names, Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, or even viewed as the clear number 2 on his own team when DK Metcalf is in the picture. But looking back at Lockett's ability and production, he probably deserves more recognition from NFL fans. Is Tyler Lockett a Hall of Famer? Most likely not. How much longer will he play? That's hard to say, but he will remain a valuable target for younger receivers and quarterbacks. What we do know is this: Lockett built a career against the odds, not only making plays with elite speed and athleticism, but also with his head, actively avoiding big hits, prolonging his career, and earning nearly $90 million along the way.